since we launched the Centre for Public Impact. I was wondering what the highlights were from your point of view.
One is simply the definition of the public impact fundamentals, and particularly establishing the importance of governments achieving legitimacy as well as outcomes. I think that's been really strong. And I find when I debate with governments around the world that that is a well understood, important aspect that they find challenging actually, but very important.
The observatory, I think, has proved to be a really popular resource on the website as well. So being able to see it across countries, across sectors, has proven to be quite interesting for people.
I think that is one of the great fact bases about how to deal with public sector issues in the world now. And it doesn't exactly tell you what to do, but it just gives you the belief that better is possible.
Yeah.
Governments are reeling from the challenge of a sense of frustration among many, many citizens that governments do all these things, but actually my life doesn't seem to get any better.
Yeah.
Most politicians, including prime ministers and presidents that I interact with, want to make the country they're in the government of a better place. But actually getting the change to happen is difficult. So if they start with good intentions and then fail to make the change, that actually just feeds into the cynicism that is already there in the undertow.
Another one of the projects that we've been focusing on this year has been about artificial intelligence and what the implications of that might be for government.
The potential is absolutely enormous. So I don't want to be, I'm not being negative about it. I just want to make sure that we have an ethical framework, because this could run away with stuff. To get some debate among public officials, political leaders about some of the ethics of these big changes would be really profound contribution at CPI.
And that's certainly what we're pushing for. The consequences can be profound for people if it's about their benefits or their health care or their liberty if it's related to the criminal justice system. So
really understanding how these decisions are being made and making sure that we have governance mechanisms in place, which will need to be slightly different to the ones we have today, will be important. So I'm starting to think about the next few years now. What do you think CPI should be focusing on in terms of the issues and the types of discussion we should be encouraging?
One is this conversation we've had about the ethical framework for innovation in government, particularly with big data, privacy versus transparency, and AI, and what are the rules that govern that. And then the second would be some really big stories of very, very substantial improvement in outcomes that show that in a variety of different circumstances right across the world, there are examples of big transformations happening now that give people hope for the future.
thanks, Michael, for everything you've done over the last few years.
Thank you.